Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner, a place where we talk about anything and everything that is geek, whether it be TV, comics, movies, or video game. And as y'all know, on a previous episode, I really raked Dan Didio over the coal for his whole mishandling of DC Comics and the whole New 52 thing that he started that has ruined DC Comics, and also caused a lot of missed opportunities with the DC multiverse, things they could have done instead of rebooting everything. And this week I'm going to discuss something that probably very many people have talked about, but not very many people, but hasn't been brought up very much in a lot of circles, and that is, and it's also something caused by the New 52, the Spew 52 as I call it, and that is fan favorite characters. There are fan favorite characters that were completely wiped out of continuity because of this. I mean, there are a lot of fan favorite characters out there that I've heard that were wiped out of the New 52. I mean, there could be people out there that's real gung-ho with the New 52. They love it no matter what, and like they don't give a care in the world if you don't like it or not. And I know there are some people on the other side, kind of like me, they're the same way over the traditional universe. Well, what is so bad about the New 52, I've done discussed in the past, but another point is that they took characters that were fan favorites and threw them out the window. Some that had been around for years before even the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they threw them out the window. They just threw it out. Just threw it out. No rhyme, no reason. Just erased them. And today I'm going to name over a few of those characters. I guess you could call it a remembrance wall to these characters. And to start off, I've got my list right here. And first of all is Cassandra Cain, also known as everybody knows as Batgirl number 2. As Barbara Gordon's replacement, essentially, when she was crippled, she was crippled, but a Joker in Last Laugh, and they said she was an assassin that became Batgirl, who somewhere along the lines became the Black Bat. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be a hero, or villain anymore at the time the New 52 hit, but all of a sudden now in the New 52, she never existed. She ain't nowhere to be seen. Because Batgirl is around, there is no Cassandra Cain. And that sucks. It really does. I mean, there you have one fan favorite character and they got rid of it. And in one cheap moment, they got rid of it. And it leads me to the next one on the list, Stephanie Brown, who everybody knows as Spoiler, and the fourth Robin, and the third Batgirl. This is actually my favorite more than Barbara Gordon. And I said she's the third Batgirl. She was Batgirl before they all of a sudden decided to revamp everything. To take all history and throw it out the window for this tape and popsicle stick continuity of the Spew 52. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, she's yet another fan favorite character who has gone through 3 different personas. Was at one time Batman's sidekick, and then Barbara Gordon's apprentice, or Oracle, and by that time apprentice. I mean, it's ridiculous. And now I hear that they actually are some credit. I'm hearing rumors now that she is about to return in the New 52. But how bad are they going to mess her up now? She going to be a villain too? She going to be a villain? What's going to happen to her? She going to follow in her dad's, the Quizmaster's, I guess it's what's his name? I forget his name. But her dad's a criminal. In the regular continuity, the criminal, I think, was called I think his name was I forget his name, but either way, he's a villain. And what are they going to do? Have her following his footsteps too? Instead of being Spoiler or something, she's going to be the next, whatever his name was. And if y'all remember his name, please drop me a comment and remind me what his name is. I can't remember it right now. I'll have to go look it up. But I can't remember what his name was. I can't remember if it's got Quizmasters, or I don't think it was Quizmaster, or something about like something like by like Riddler or something like about like the Riddler's name or something like. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Cluemaster. Cluemaster. I just remembered it. Cluemaster. Was she going to be the next Cluemaster? It's ridiculous. And like I said, it's just like I said, wiping out all these fan favorites, and they've been doing enough fan favorite wiping out in the New 52. So that was just the start of it. And another one is Wally West, and not just Wally West, who was Flash number 2. It won't just Wally West. It was the entire Wally West family. His wife, and his son and daughter, and his daughter had powers just like he was a speedster too. And his daughter, who's a speedster too, and said they were all missing. They all went MIA after the New 52 hit. There was no Wally West. There was no Wally West. No, his wife ain't been seen. His kids ain't been seen anymore. And to me, that stinks. Because there you are getting rid of future generation. And all it is, Barry Allen's been the one and only Flash always. There was no crisis, other than being no, without a crisis. Hey, when they said in the beginning, there was no crisis. Well, without a crisis, where would there be a Wally West to fit into that? No crisis, no death of Barry Allen, no Wally West. So there wouldn't be a Wally West. And I said they didn't wipe him out of continuity just that, and they keep teasing it. What is so makes Dan Didio so much of a jerk about this whole thing is that he keeps teasing him. He keeps teasing him. He keeps teasing his return. But he ain't going to bring him back. He will come closer to, I'm going to spoiler alert here. I don't know if it's going to happen yet or not. That's two things he wants to do. Kill Dick Grayson and tease that they're going to bring Wally West back but never do it. That's what makes Dan Didio so much of a jerk right now. And to me, getting rid of Wally West and his entire family is junk. It's just junk. And another one, I don't think that's a good move at all to do that. And another one is Megan Morris, Miss Martian. She was a Teen Titan all the way up to when they revamped everything. And when they revamped the Teen Titans, they didn't even look the same anymore. They looked like a bunch of dregs. And of course, there was no Miss Martian to be seen. I don't know what happened to her. She's in the dimensional void in a different timeline. What? I don't get it. And to me, that's just junk. Getting rid of Teen Titans like this, getting rid of the ones like this. It's just junk. And they need to, I don't like it at all. Another one, probably a lesser known character, but probably has a pretty good steady fan base. Charlotte Gage Radcliffe, also known as Misfit. I don't know much about that character. I probably need to read up on her some, but it's just that's another character that just disappeared out of Birds of Prey. When they revamped Birds of Prey, and for some crazy off-the-wall reason, they put Poison Ivy on the team instead of her, and then she was gone. What did they do with her? Throw her out the window? What did they do? Just junk, man. Another one, and this is a character from Smallville that they added to the DC continuity after years and years and years and years of folks asking questions, when are they going to introduce Chloe? They finally introduced, and that's Chloe Sullivan. And this character, Chloe Sullivan, from Smallville. And everybody knows Smallville is Clark's best friend, and one who might as well say basically has an unrequited crush on Clark and everything. basically unrequited love, but eventually falls in love with and marries Oliver Queen in the series. But in the Action Comics, she has more of a thing for Jimmy, and they're more of all the same. She's more almost like the same age as Jimmy, and I think she's still a friend of hers. I think she's still a friend of hers. A friend of I think she's still Lois's cousin. I think she's still Lois's cousin and Clark's friend in the comics. But come to New 52, gone. There is no Chloe. There's barely even a childhood for Clark Kent, much less a Chloe Sullivan and a Lon Lane. I don't even know if there's a Lon Lane. I think there's a Lon. I don't know. I haven't even looked. But like I said, they all these years begging and pleading for DC to put Chloe in the DC universe. Then about the time they do it, they get rid of her and wipe her out of continuity, like it never even happened. And to me, that is just, it's just sorry. It's sorry to do something like that. And I mean, why in the world would you finally say, okay, here she is, bye, there she's gone? Why would you want to do that? Anybody, anyway, any character, not just that, but just what if they did it to any other character? They just all of a sudden wipe it out of continuity. I mean, I think there are. I come to think of it, I think there are at least a couple other characters that were wiped out of continuity. I don't remember seeing on Lon Lang in the New 52, and I don't remember seeing a Pete Ross in the New 52. The only one they showed is Superman. It is Superman. That's it. I mean, it's just junk, and I can't. I just can't stand it. What they've done. Another one, and this is actually a group of heroes, the Legion of Superheroes. Now, I know some folks are going to disagree. They were in there. Yes, they were. But the entire time, they were doing a story called Legion Lost, in which they were getting wiped out of continuity. They were getting just wiped out of the continuity. I think that's what Legion Lost. They got rid of the Legion of Superheroes and are now wanting to replace it with Justice League 3000, which is essentially a future Justice League. All of which look like they're wearing armor suits. Again. They look weirder than ever before. I mean, and matter of fact, I don't even think that was their final looks. Because about the time they revealed what the looks were supposed to be for that book, they all of a sudden went to retooling that book. Getting a new creative team in it, trying to redo it and everything. It can't launch it. I mean, that's the thing. I was like, you went and got rid of the only future superhero team that was to be established by Superman, and then you can't get your other future team off the ground. That'll tell you something right there. They ain't meant to do that. I mean, and that is, you ain't supposed to be tooling with tampering with what already is. I mean, seriously. And another one is probably a bit more obscure team, but a lot of folks know this, the Metal Men. And I just had to think of this the other day and added it to the list. The Metal Men. I can't remember all their names. I think it's like Mercury, Gold, Iron, stuff, ones like that. Copper, ones like that. I haven't seen, I may be mistaken, they may be in there somewhere, but I have not seen or heard any word that they have put the Metal Men in the New 52. I haven't heard a word. So that's another group of characters I think goes back beyond the 80s that got wiped out they got wiped away because of the New 52. And here you got, let's see, let me look again. That's at least several characters. There's like maybe 11 characters on this list that have been wiped out of continuity because of Dan Didio, Jim Lee, Jeff Johns, whoever it is that's the president of DC Comics, all because of their grand vision of the new that is the New 52, which I think is the biggest blunder in DC Comics history. You have wiped out, not only wiped the continuity, you've wiped out characters. I always griped about the history and how the characters supposed to act. What about the characters that got knocked out of the? And talk about, I thought, like I said, I talk about missed opportunities and changing how characters look and how they act, and changing what the history was, and changing 75 years of established history, throwing 75 years established history out of the window. What about the characters that got wiped out? All these characters that got, and then it's kind of like they're going to slowly introduce them one at a time, but they're going to be completely different from what they once were. They ain't ever going to be the same if they're going to keep this new 52 train wreck going. Eventually, it's going to run out of track and it's going to fall off the cliff. That train, the new 52 train, can only derail but so many times because of errors here and errors there, problems behind the scenes and everything. DC can only derail so many times before they find the end of the track and they plummet right off the cliff into bankruptcy and closure, or getting bought out by another company. I mean, you can't do this. You just can't get these characters. You just can't wipe out characters because you want to rewrite history to your own twisted, warped, armored-clad, emo-acting future. You can't do that. And then some of the darkest characters, and yet some of the brightest characters you have, you get rid of them. Some of fan favorites, you get rid of them. And to me, that shows signs of somebody that don't know what they're doing, and sitting there with a grin on their face while the whole place burns. It's like somebody who has set the building on fire and talking about how great it is and everything, and standing there with a grin on their face while their house is essentially, while their whole business is essentially burning to the ground. It doesn't make sense. This is the same thing. It don't make sense that you got rid of these characters. It don't make sense what New 52 is doing. It's just garbage. And I said, I guess that's for now. I'll just leave you with, it's just garbage. Like I always do about New 52, it's garbage, and it's just needs to be gotten rid of. Time needs to be reset again and set back the way it was before, on the traditional 75 years of established history, with all the characters that we know and love, and all the characters actually existing. I said everything being put exactly back the way it was to the old classic DCU. That's what needs to happen. And Dan Didio needs to be fired. Again, I've said it once again. They need to fire the people responsible for this. If anything, Jeff Johns and Jim Lee need to be demoted. They need to be demoted back to being a writer and an artist, which is what they are. They need to be demoted back to what they've been doing before. And Dan Didio and that blonde they got up there running as president of DC Entertainment, they need to be shown the door and given their walking papers. They need to be given their walking papers and their severance check and shown out the door to the unemployment line. That's what needs, and everything needs to be put. They need to put somebody back in there. It'll put everything back to the way it was before instead of this new 52 garbage. Granted, there are some people out there that like this, but being a uber traditional DC fan that I am, I don't get why people like it so good. Messed up continuity, characters acting out of character, characters that don't even look the same anymore. Like I said, don't even act the same anymore. I don't see how in the world you could possibly even like it. I mean, granted, they've had a few good things happen to them, which I probably named in the past. They've had a few things they've actually done right, but the wrong drastically outweighs the right, and it needs to be changed bad before it's too late. But actually, it just needs to be changed before it's way too late, and I'm afraid it's going to eventually get past the point of no return. I pray that it doesn't, but maybe they'll see the error in their ways, and they'll change everything back. But just hope it ain't too late by the time they realize it. But what do y'all think? Do y'all agree with me on this? Do y'all agree with me on this, or are there other characters that need to be? Am I wrong about some of these characters that have disappeared from DC? Or are there others that have disappeared and I not realize it? Let me know. As always, drop a comment in the comment box. Let me know. I said I want to know if there are any other characters that have disappeared because of the New 52. They have disappeared from history, disappeared from stories. I want to know. I really, really want to know. I said, just let me know. I said, drop me a comment and let me know. And I guess that's it for this week's edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner. As always, if you have a comment about the show, drop a comment in the comment box. If y'all have an idea of anything y'all want to hear me talk about on here, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'm always looking for new and fresh ideas for things to talk about on here. And I said, I would love to hear your ideas. Just drop me a comment. And I'll see y'all next time.